welcome to the first episode of our new series. It's another road trip. This time we're travelling from Toronto all the way down to Naples in Florida. Along for the journey this time is myself, Catherine, and my husband Darren, my sister and brother-in-law Rachel and Neil, my mother Diane and her husband Kevin, and finally our son Connor and Darren's stepdad Anthony. We were travelling with British Airways, so this means Terminal 5 in Heathrow Airport. We booked the Plaza Premium Lounge and I honestly wouldn't bother. I was really unimpressed, and there is a short video with the full review if you're interested. Rachel and Neil didn't join us in the lounge as they were flying business class, so they went in the fancy pants British Airways lounge. Here's a few photos of the food and drinks that Rachel received in the business class flights. It's definitely something that's on my bucket list. Here's the rest of us in cattle class. The first stop of the trip was Toronto. When booking this holiday, I found it really difficult to find reasonably priced accessible hotels, so we ended up with 2 separate apartments. Both apartments were great, especially ours, which was through booking.com and had absolutely fantastic views, as you can see from the photos. I'll put the links in the description below. It was an early start on our first morning and off to get a great breakfast and our first taste of some maple syrup. Our first activity was the city sightseeing hop-on hop-off Toronto bus. We booked this through Get Our Guide before leaving the UK. The lower level of the bus was fully wheelchair accessible. However, be warned, there is no air conditioning and it was absolutely boiling. We all enjoyed the bus trip. However, due to the amount of construction and roadworks in the city, there was a lot of traffic, which meant the bus trip lasted longer than we expected. While we managed to get around okay, Neil did feel that the city wasn't particularly wheelchair friendly, as there was a lot of uneven pavements, no drop curbs, and the construction around the area made it difficult on times. We ate in the rec room, which I would really recommend. It's an arcade, sports bar and restaurant that's been made in the old tram station. We all really enjoyed our food. The restaurant was also fully wheelchair accessible. We only had 2 nights in Toronto, so we took one last picture of the beautiful view and then checked out of our accommodation and went to Tim Hortons as we were in Canada for breakfast. Next stop was the CN Tower, which is Toronto's most famous building. Rachel and Neil decided against the CN Tower as Rachel suffers from vertigo. I honestly think this was a wise decision, as you could actually feel the tower swaying and it wasn't a particularly windy day we went. The tickets were around 45 Canadian dollars, but if you do have anyone in your party who's over the age of 60, mention it at the ticket booth because there is a discount that can be given. General admission gets you to the 114th floor, where for a little bit extra you can go up a further 33 stories. After the CN Tower, we had a short walk over to Union Station, where we were catching a Flix bus to Niagara Falls. The Flix bus was cheap as chips at only about £11 per person, but it was hardly luxury travel. Rachel and Neil chose to get an Uber to the next stop, which is just as well, as there is no way Neil would have got on the bus, despite them saying it was wheelchair accessible. Thank you for watching our video. I would appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel. Next stop is Niagara Falls.